Alright, welcome back.
Last episode we were talking about steampunk and Yakuza and all that other crap.
And Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
What I was getting at was, like, I just like Cyberpunk's style of doing the future because it's not...
It's not squeaky clean.
Yeah, like, Star Trek especially is, like, the worst of it. Star Trek is, like, everything in the future is perfect and our society is amazing.
Some episodes they tackle the more, like, a more topical thing.
Yeah, this is true.
But most of the time it's just like, we're gonna go fucking beat up the alien of the week.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just, like, I've never been super down with that. Star Wars is slightly better because they have the whole, like,
Empire.
Rebellion army and overpowered government and, like, the government not actually being good for its people and then the rebellion needing to come up. And it had, like, more, like, drama and stuff, but it wasn't, like... The drama didn't come from the new technology. It came from the typical society problems we have now, but now there's spaceships and lasers and swords!
Space wizards!
And, like, that's the only difference.
Space wizards with laser swords.
Yeah. Like, the difference now... Like, because the difference is, like, instead of getting Parliament together to talk about the problems of the country, it's like, now we get the League of Galactic Empire people to talk about what their planets need and discuss where we shall divorce our resources. And it's like, this is the same shit, but now we're in space and there's wizard people!
Which I'm okay with, but at the same time...
I like... But I don't love, like, I love Cyberpunk shit.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get it, man.
Yeah, like, Cyberpunk is, like... It's one of the main reasons why Ghost in the Shell is one of my favorite animes, period.
Yeah.
Like, of all time.
Not even because it's, like, the best show ever made. But because it shows you what could happen.
Yeah. What I really like about Cyberpunk... specifically, and my main reason I like Cyberpunk, and something that a lot of surprises me, most people still don't get it, the main core point of a Cyberpunk story is, what is human?
Yeah. That
is the main point, and people still don't get it and fuck it up, and it amazes me, because I'm like, how do you fuck that up? It's a really simple concept.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point is posing the question of what is human. Deus Ex does a fucking awesome job of it, by the way. The reboot, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Because Mankind Divided is the very start of when humans start integrating cybernetics into their people. Cybernetics. And there's, like, Puritans who are, like, religious-style folks that are just like, you can't screw up God's plan! This is an act against God and the people. And then there's other people that are like, this is the only true way forward for human evolution. And then there's other people that are just like, listen, I have my cybernetics. It's great that I'm not dead, but now I need to spend $3,000 a month on pills to keep me alive. And, like, this is awful.
So I think the other a kind of a reason you kind of like it is because it lets us how do I phrase this? Cyberpunk and sci-fi just tackle topics that you can't in, like, a fantasy or modern day setting.
Yes.
Of, like, in most science fiction and some cyberpunks, AI and artificial intelligence becomes to the point where it's like almost its own consciousness.
It pretty much is its own consciousness at a certain point. Yeah.
At what point do we let our levels of morals apply to them? Like, when do we apply this robot has the same levels of rights as we do?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I find so fascinating about those levels of things.
Yeah, those are the best parts. I also love the Ghost in the Shell does a great job at establishing the more out there concepts, and specifically Ghost in the Shell standalone complex has, like, more out there.
Fuck out of them?
Yeah, has more, like, out there episodes that are kind of like one track side offs from the main plot, but they're fucking so good that I think everyone should watch them. And my favorite is there's one where they track down this box. It's just a box, and I guess inside this box is a virtual world and the brain of the original creator of this movie. And all it does is constantly re-airs the same movie over and over again. And it's a movie that was considered so perfect that people just, like, couldn't stop watching it. It's just, like, a perfect representation of everything.
It's an interesting little thing.
And essentially watching it will give certain people who watch it it will immediately click with them, and their entire life just becomes like that movie. And it was banned and outlawed. So to get around that, he fucking uploaded his consciousness into a little computer box brain, essentially, with his movie in a movie theater, and all it does is play the same movie over and over and over and over again, and it never stops.
That's interesting.
And people keep uploading their consciousness to see it, and then they never come out. So the question becomes, why aren't they coming out? Because and they go through this whole thing where they think it's like a cyber hacker and attack people stealing consciousness. So they send their science people in there, and Major goes and sees the movie for the first time. And you don't ever see the movie. That's what makes it so good, is you just watch people react to the movie. And even Major has like one single tear as the movie ends, and then she like leaves the movie theater, and then they have a long discussion with the creator of the movie about like the meaning of life and like why people stay to watch the fucking movie and never leave and fucking the whole meaning, and she just kind of is like, it's good, but it's not for me. And she just leaves. She's like, it's too she's like, it's good, but it's not for me. It's too perfect.
Yeah.
And then she leaves. But the people who want to hold on to that consciousness of like, this is perfect, nothing will ever be better than this, why would I leave? Are the ones that stay. They never leave the movie. They just watch it forever. Because nothing will ever be as good ever again.
But it's shit like that I love about that stuff, because it's such a moral, like, question.
Yeah, that's what makes
That's why you love Cyberpunk.
Yeah, like Cyberpunk, and especially Ghost in the Shell, because Ghost in the Shell plays with a lot of the concepts, because it's had a lot of, long run time to run with them.
Just talk about how this is just like, I can't walk through
I know, right? Yo, man, PS2 graphics, alright? We can't make everything nice and fabric-like yet. Take too much on the hardware. But yeah, fucking, that and, because they're like, because it was interesting for me to watch that episode, because I had posed this question before to people, and people never really gave me a good answer for it, because it's kind of a hard thing to answer, because I was explaining, because I was talking to someone who was like, virtual reality is going to be the future, eventually we're just going to be able to live inside, like, machines and stuff, and we won't ever need to leave, and I'm like, or not ever need to leave, but like, essentially people will be able to live in virtual reality, is essentially what he was going with. Like, eventually we'll even be able to upload our brains into the internet. And I was like, yeah, but like, let me ask you a question. And he's like, what's that? I'm like, why would we leave? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, if everything is perfect, and everything is just a digital representation, so you can have anything at any time without any need for someone to make it or create it or waste their time to do so, why would you leave? He's like, well, you'd still need to eat and stuff. And I'm like, what if you don't need to? Like, what if you can fully upload your consciousness to the internet, so you no longer have to worry about eating, sleeping, drinking? Why would you leave? And he's like,
it's the stuff, man.
I don't know. Like, he just had a long moment of, I have no idea. And I think that movie episode poses a nice, interesting answer to that question, which is some people won't stay because it will be too perfect.
Yeah.
And they won't trust it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a more interesting take on it than I think just being like, well, I mean, people would have to leave eventually. It's like, why? You're not giving me a reason why they would need to leave. Like, it's like, I argue that someone would need to stay behind. They wouldn't need to leave, but someone would need to stay behind to keep the system running. Yes. Unless we invent robots to do it for us. Which we might.
Then we have the Terminator. Then we have
then we literally have the Matrix. Which, honestly, though, the Matrix wouldn't be so bad if they let the people know they were in a simulation and gave them whatever they wanted. It's the fact that they tried to portray it as real life, so there were still people struggling with money and finances and getting places to stay, and there were still homeless people. Which made it more real, so they were unaware that there was problems.
Oh my god, did the robots big brain us in that?
Yeah, they did. They literally big brained us. So, like, the idea is, like, they made it shit so that we would believe it's real. Because if it was too perfect, the argument is that someone would have figured it out. Like, why is everything so perfect all the time? It doesn't make sense. Bad things should eventually happen, right? Why does nothing bad ever happen? And that's why it sucks. Because they were like, we made it too real. I think they explained that in 2.
They do, actually.
2 or 3, they explain if we made it too perfect, no one would fucking...
It's not,
no one would believe it.
It's one of the operators or people, I don't remember what they're called, but it's one of them.
Yes.
They're like,
the Oracle or something, I think.
They made it too good, and then everybody rebelled, because they realized it was a fake.
Yep. It's so true. But I think their problem in logic there is that they made it too good without telling them. I think if they told people, hey, you guys live in a simulation, but everything in your life is going to be given to you, I think most of them would be like, that's fine, cool. Fine. Like, fine, cool. Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
But then again, when that child falls into the fucking gorilla pit, the gorilla doesn't think twice before murdering that child, so maybe not. Even though it's given all the food and freedom it wants, as long as it stays within the wall. So maybe it wouldn't work out.
My boy Harambe!
But that's why I like Cyberpunk shit.
I thoroughly enjoy Cyberpunk shit, because it's like, there was moral dilemmas.
Like, I got fucking, like, over on my fucking wall over there, I got Lane from the fucking anime Lane.
Yes.
And Lane is the most non-cyberpunk story ever. Because it takes place in current modern 90s, but the whole thing is just her, like, making an artificial intelligence. And then, like, the concept is, like, what is living and what is dead, and do I really want to be alive? I could upload my consciousness to the internet, and then I wouldn't have to worry about anything, and that's, like, most of the conflict of that story. Is just being like, is it really worth staying here when I could upload my brain to the internet and never have to deal with any of this again? I don't know. The answer to that question is, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is. Who knows? That's the fun. That's the fun of Cyberpunk. That's why I like Cyberpunk games so much, though, is because they give you the choice.
Yeah,
where it
lets you be your choice.
Yeah, it lets you do what you want. Where, like, I really like Ghost in the Shell, but Ghost in the Shell doesn't give me a choice. It just poses the question. I don't get to pick, though, at the end. Because it's not my story.
I do enjoy that stuff. But that's... And with that, it's the same reason I like certain things in sci-fi.
Oh, yeah.
Because they let us tackle topics that are relevant today, but are unable to be answered today. Mm-hmm. Like the, at what point does an AI
become a
sentient creature that deserves its own rights?
I think it needs a body.
What if it has a body?
Then there you go. There's my cutoff. Exactly. Then it's fine. I think it comes down to, for me, what it mainly comes down to, and this won't be a problem until we're probably long dead. AI needs the ability to continuously keep learning more than what it is told to learn before I would consider it to be a full living creature.
Most AI can do that already, though.
Most AI cannot.
Well, some AI.
Most AI can only learn what they're directly given to learn.
What they're told to learn.
And then once they're finished with that thing, they are horrible again.
Yeah.
So they did that with Google has been making an artificial intelligence that plays Atari games. And it literally broke Brick Break. Like, it literally maxed out the score of Brick Break and destroyed the game in like 2 fucking seconds. It literally found a glitch that it could do every single time, first try, giving it max score in like 2 seconds.
Do you know...
But the minute they switch that game to a different Atari game, it freaks the fuck out and dies immediately. Because it has no idea what's happening. Yeah.
I'm blanking on what it's called. I think it's called DeepMind. I think that's what it's called. Mm-hmm. But it's,
Yep.
Give me a moment to formulate my words properly while I try to do multiple things.
Fair.
StarCraft 2 has a very competitive scene. If you ever watch a game of that, you probably wouldn't be interested in watching it. But if you watch it, you can be like, "Wow, these guys know what they're doing."
Happening. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it.
They had a thing called DeepMind. They made it, and it beat Grandmaster players, which Grandmaster is the highest level of tier. And watching them play it, it's like, holy shit!
Right.
Holy shit! The amount of micro you need to do to control every one of these units to make sure this guy's health is fine, keep him away so he doesn't die. I'm like, holy shit!
See, the thing is an AI would be a lot better at doing that than us because it can cache that information in its brain forever and grab it whenever it needs. The thing with AI, and the reason why I don't think AI is going to become an actual, like, artificial intelligence that's willing to be considered in the same way of humans for quite a while, is because you put Pong in front of that machine, Derek,
it's going to be terrible.
It's going to fucking suck.
Yeah. When AI becomes able to make its own choices,
AI already makes its own decisions.
Yeah.
It's just that it can't learn anything past what it is told to learn. It needs to be able to learn multiple things and be able to apply those multiple things
and be able to
at the
make
same
the decision
time.
Let me phrase that differently. Be able to make its own decisions of what it's trying to learn.
Yes.
That's when we consider it its own AI.
Yeah. AI will be considered its own thing when it can both, number one, determine what it wants to learn on its own. It can just decide what it wants to learn.
Yes.
And number two, is able to learn more than one thing. It can't just learn like how to play baseball, and then like the minute it picks up a tennis racket, it short circuits and collapses to the ground. Like it needs to be able to then pick up a tennis racket, go new thing, recalculating, must learn new thing.
Yeah.
And we're a long ways away from that. We're not a long ways away from AI stealing everyone's jobs, though, so good luck with that, people of the future.
Oh, yeah. That's
gonna come
that
really soon. I give that, like, 20, 30 years tops before AI is literally doing most people's jobs. But we'll see. We'll see.
Insolent fool!
But you know what I have realized about Cyberpunk material?
What?
All the best of it came out in the 80s.
Yes.
Like,
that was
all
when
of it.
those topics were really getting...
Yeah. Because, like, Cyberpunk, the board game, obviously came out at that time, but that's when the first manga version of Ghost in the Shell was released, and then slightly into the 90s, but was still arguably the 80s, Lane came out, like... It was during that time period where, like, technology was starting to gain power and people were scared. So that's when they started posing all their questions of, like, well, what if this thing does this, though? Have we considered that? And then everyone kind of shrugs and is like, I don't know, fucking... We're running through a new era of that with AI, though. Artificial intelligence. Yep. There's been multiple stories now that I've read about companies creating AI and then immediately being like, maybe this isn't a good idea. Like, like, this is starting to get scarily good at what we're telling it to do. Like, maybe we shouldn't be pushing this as hard as we are. We'll see about that, though.
Yeah.
Because I guess the dude who, like, the main dude they had working on the, like, best AI they have at Google right now, I guess... I don't know if he stepped down from the position, but he had an interview and he essentially explained, like, yeah, we made it with the question of, like, can we make it, but we never asked should we make it. And he's like, I think we probably shouldn't have made it. He's like,
I agree with that.
And I'm like, man, that's a bad sign when the dude who's heading artificial intelligence at Google is like, yeah, maybe artificial intelligence is a bad idea. This is not a good sign. It's like, that's not a good sign. Oh, a little bit of a cough. But yeah, I just like all the Cyberpunk posing of questions. The main one, though, that I think is just like, if you want to tell a Cyberpunk story and you don't know a lot about it and you want to get like the core concept, is just do what is human. Easy.
Yeah.
You just run with what is human. Everyone runs with it. It's easy to tell. You don't have to do anything fucking crazy. And people still fuck it up, and it's amazing to me. I'm looking at you, Ghost in the Shell reboot from Disney that was live action, who had no idea of how to do a basic concept as what is human.
What is human?
What is human? Because, like, her whole character arc is, like, because she's a robot, right? She's an android with, like, a consciousness. And her whole thought process of the character and, like, her main arc is, was I ever human to begin with? She's like, I know I was told I was once human and that I'm in this body because of an accident when I was a child, but how do I know those weren't planted and I'm an artificial intelligence and that's just what they told me to believe? And that's the whole fucking premise of the fucking show. Which is why when people are just like, how dare she not be Asian? I'm like, you're missing the point of what is human.
They did that with Alita Battle Angel, too.
Yes, Alita Battle Angel, also very Cyberpunk style show.
Dystopian future.
I haven't watched it as much though, but
it's a good. We watched the new. It was a remake movie. It wasn't everything everybody liked about the comic. It was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I hear it's really good. It's only based off the first arc, I guess.
Yeah.
So they didn't really go super into what
they set up for a sequel if they wanted
really
to.
Good, yeah.
But a lot of people were like, "She got bigger tits. Don't like it." And I'm like, guys, oh boy, I hate you all.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. From what I saw, it was good. I have not seen the whole thing. I want to see the whole thing.
My girlfriend has it on DVD.
Point.
Maybe I'll remember, if I remember to grab it, I'll grab it for you.
But yeah, it's because that was I was posing that question to. I also posed that I love posing philosophical fucking cyberpunk questions to friends of mine and watch them squirm as their brain tries to figure out what the fuck. But I like that one a lot too, where I'm like, dude, I was like. Say we're in the future, right? And you upload your brain consciousness into a robot, and now you're a robot. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, how do you know you were ever human to begin with? And he's like, well, I would have memories of being a human. I'm like, yeah, but how do you know those weren't planted there? To make you believe you were once human.
Big brain
stress. I'm like, what if we made all robots have, thought processes like they were humans at one point? We could do that.
Did we fight Riku? We did already, yeah.
Yeah, we had the first fight with him.
Take the hint. I told you to go home.
Take the hint. He's like, I'm trying, but you won't remove your pants. Anyways.
Asking you to rescue me.
Did you forget? Kyrie's there, waiting for us both to come home.
You're the one who forgot.
I thought they were worried about Nominee.
I told you at Kingdom Hearts when we closed the door. Take care of Kyrie.
This one I think is actually Riku.
Oh. Are you sure? He looks pretty evil.
I forget.
I'm not going back to the islands. For anything.
Oh, that's Riku, yeah. I don't think that's actually Riku, though.
I forget. I forget so hard.
I think it's a memory of good Riku now.
You might be right.
Yeah, I don't think Riku is in this game at all.
No, he is.
Riku?
We play as Riku.
Okay, fair. I get what you mean. So, okay, how about this?
I forget, though, because it lines up weirdly.
So here's what I think, right? Mm-hmm. Neither of these Rikus is real Riku, but it's Sora's memories of bad Riku and Sora's memories of good Riku that he's remembering. Meanwhile, when we play as Riku, that's real Riku, but he never comes across Sora.
I honestly forget.
I mean, we'll know when we play through as real Riku.
That's real Riku. You're gonna like it, though, because we descend instead of ascend.
That's smart, because he wants to leave the fucking shithole.
Yep.
Unlike Sora, who's an idiot and keeps traveling further into it.
I now know the one thing that is most important.
Oh, wait, no, this is evil Riku. Still.
Protecting Nominee.
Are you sure?
I forget.
It's protecting Nominee doesn't seem like an evil Riku thing. Then again, evil Riku was protecting Kairi.
I forget. Who fucking remembers?
Kingdom Hearts plots are very straightforward.
I forget. It's been so long.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck. Fuck. Yeah.
Hey.
Fuck you.
Hey, Riku. Are we both dead?
Riku. Is this a purgatory?
Didn't we just fight him?
We did.
Go ahead and try.
Okay, maybe I can do it in a minute.
I hope so. Oh, we got transported to a new dimension.
Hit him
with your key. Hit him with your key hard. Yeah. Fire! Damn, fire does a lot of damage. Just careful, Sora. You're getting your ass handed to you. Many heals.
Left side!
Left side. Right side. There's something so weird about watching the enemy shuffle through their cards on the right side.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding.
You gotta be kidding me.
I wish I was Riku, but I'm just stronger than you.
Oh, shit. Fire! Freeze! Freeze fire! Wow, he was very nice enough to let you heal there. How convenient. Go. Cool, you did it. Fire! There you go. Very nice, Derek. And that was actually pretty much a minute. That was good timing. Unfortunately, we're probably going to get like 7 hours of cutscenes.
Probably.
We'll see. See how it goes. Level up!
Whoa, I never would have expected that.
Yeah, but also try not to drown while you have that emotional reaction. It's... Damn it, I'm still not strong enough. Yeah, it's definitely evil Ryu.
Too bad, Sora. You can fight me all you want, but I still won't remember a thing.
Because I'm evil.
Come on, Ryu.
Because I'm a stubborn asshole.
Let's go help nominate.
Together. Right. So like you. Sora, you're always trying to worm your way into my heart.
Hold on. When did I ever do that?
You forgot that too?
Wait, no, this is good, Riku.
Never mattered to you.
Stop being a good guy.
Oh.
Sora's like, man, I just don't understand him at all.
I learned the magnet spiral.
Oh, what a magnet and a spiral.
Whee!
You did it, and with that though,
I want to make sure. Can I save? Okay, I can.
alright, cool. And with that though, we'll see you guys in the next part. We'll see you then. Peace.